In industry, you'll probably have seen scrap sitting around. The benefit of scrap is that it can be broken down into a lot of different resources. As always, the schematics can be found in the description below.
Processing schematics, please stand by.
This schematic is what I call the scrap stack, because if you stick it on its side, it looks like a bunch of boxes all stacked together. I did not create this one. This design takes 2 feeds of scrap, feeds it into the melters then distribute it to these conveyor belts and bridges, which then combine it all into one conveyor belt. It's a good design if you have a little bit of scrap or 2 drills worth of scrap. What I don't like about this one is that it doesn't go out on a plastinium, and so this is a combined feed, and so you don't have it sorted. It's hard to use this material. So I only use this if there's a little bit of scrap and I don't have a lot of resources to send back to the base. This next design is what I use when I have a lot of scrap and I want to start putting, or just a lot of resources and I want to put them all on the same plastinium conveyor belt. You feed in your scrap to the melter on the side. It has the general idea of my 5x5 square that I use on a lot of my designs. Although it doesn't follow the same principle, you can't feed the scrap in from just any side. It has to be in from this left-hand side. Now, the benefit of this is you can put these in a row and you can end up with a lot of scrap producing a lot of material that can then all go back to your base because it's on the plastinium conveyor belt. Now, this container is a little bit costly because it requires titanium to set up, but the purpose of it is to sort, help with the sorting of the materials. And there's probably better ways to do this, but I just haven't figured that out. This is good enough for me for what I need it for. The next piece is, now if you have the disassembler, this requires slag and scrap. The benefit of this design is it's a small, quick and easy disassembler. If you don't have a lot of space, you can put one of these down. If you have more than one, you can stick them right next to each other and it'll get you thorium. It's kind of the bare minimum design here. Now this version of the disassembler is very similar to my other version of the separator. This one has a container that is used to sort the materials. They all come out container here and then get fed off into the plastinium conveyor. Now you can see there's just slightly different variations here. I wanted to point this out. This one on the left has the benefit of having a vault, and there's only one feed for each of the materials that come out. Benefit of that is that you won't ever get jamming because each feed has its unique hole to feed out. Now, in the one in the middle here, you can see that there is an overflow gate which will allow the thorium and the sand to overflow into these areas. Plus, in the corner, the titanium and the graphite unloaders share a spot with the disassembler, which allows the disassembler to put what's not supposed to be in that hole, in that conveyor belt's position. They can put something random. And eventually, this can end up jamming if you get the wrong combination of resources here. Alright, now this part of the video was recorded on a different day. I was using this design and realized, oh, this is going to jam a lot faster than I thought. In fact, it occurred to me on one of my levels that it was really going to jam. And so I went ahead and redesigned this with putting junctions here, and that solved the problem. Now there's one entrance per type of resource to get onto the plastinium conveyor belt, and now you won't have to worry about this jamming. So ignore what I said about this being the best one. Here's a better version for that, and show you one more design that I came up with in the meantime, and that is this one, where you can actually take the same design and mirror it, and you can get 6 in a row, or you can mirror it again and you can get a whole bunch, 12. And now this conveyor belt, this plastinium conveyor belt, gets a little bit backed up, but if you notice here, I have some of these incinerators, and by burning some of the sand, it actually makes this flow pretty well. So this is a slightly better version that I came up with after filming the first part of this video. Now back to the rest. Benefit of this design is you can actually take the disassembler and the separator design, put them in a row along the plastinium conveyor belt, and you'll get all your resources heading back to your base. Again, you can use either the vault or the container design. The benefit of the container design is that it doesn't require as much thorium to make, and the vault takes longer to build generally, and so I tend to use this version over here on the right hand side most of all. One bonus design I wanted to throw in here is how you can use scrap to create surge alloy. Now this is not an overly refined schematic, but it is a useful one. If you need just a little bit of surge alloy, you can use this design. You can actually lay them in a row like this. You can see I have them stacked this way. You feed in coal and scrap. Scrap creates your sand for the silicon smelter. You feed in This scrap also goes to the separator, which creates your copper, lead, and titanium, and it then feeds out this conveyor belt. You'll notice that I get some graphite. The graphite is like an extra. It doesn't get consumed by the surge smelter, so you can either burn it or send it down your way. And I like to just send it down the way, not waste it. But that does require having a way to quickly feed out those raw materials that you don't need. And so you see some extra copper going out. In this case, there's not enough lead going in, and so there's some downtime for the surge smelter, and anything extra gets sent off and on its merry way. And that's okay. If you want to speed it up a little bit, you can feed in a lead conveyor belt on the side underneath these bridges to get a little bit extra speed there. But then you're short titanium, and you have to feed in some titanium, which you can feed in across here if you would like. But it does get a little bit messy if you start doing that. And if you have all the resources available, you might as well just do a proper surge smelter. But if you only have coal and scrap, this is a nice way of getting some general resources as well as some surge alloy. So there you have the various schematics that I use for scrap. Now I didn't go over the sand production. I did that in a different video. So if you want to check that out, you can check that out. But this is what I find the most useful for converting your scrap into more useful resources. Hopefully that was helpful, and I'll catch you next time. Thanks for watching.